Horwitz, easy credit, the high swindle scandal. What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, January the 12th, 2025. And, well, it was a wild week on Wall Street, and we'll get into that in our market report. But I think one of the big things that we should be looking at is what we're calling the easy money, high rate scandal or swindle, where they continue to make credit easy for those who can't afford credit, locking them into loans at between 24 and 29%, which, if it was an illegal operation loaning that money, they would be in jail for usury rates. But when you're a bank and when you're the Federal Reserve, you can fuck everybody. And it's like if you ever saw the movie Lethal Weapon 2, Joe Pesci, they fuck you in the drive-thru. And this is what we're watching right now. For those who are not aware, the Fed funds rate has dropped, obviously, 100 basis points since September 18th. In the same period of time, the 10-year notes, which is what your loans are based off of, have gone up 120 basis points, basically creating a 2-point spread for the banks to make more money, to create higher inflation, so that we can pay more taxes and fill the coffers of the government and their taxes. In other words, we are being taxed by the hidden tax of inflation. So you may hear about taxes, you may hear a lot of things, and of course, fortunately, a week from tomorrow, we have a new president, and hopefully this new president will do as he has promised and run this country like a business and not keep us in this shithole and not continue to destroy the middle class, which in any economy, the middle class is the most important class. They're the workers, they're the payers, they're the builders, they're the entrepreneurs. You don't have them, you don't have much of a society. So, of course, we saw on Friday a new jobs number, 256,000. Can you say bullshit? Again, I can guarantee you, and if anybody wants to make a wager, they will be revised come February. They will be revised lower, as they've done almost every jobs report since the Biden administration has been in place. You've had a reduction of the jobs. And again, listen, I'm not blaming them only. This has been going on for years, okay? But they give you the headline number, which, by the way, is based off of bullshit, okay? If you want to check it out, go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics website and look at the U3, which is what they base the jobs number off of, against the U6. Because on the U3, they don't even count the number of people that have gone off the roll that are not looking for jobs anymore. So again, just an interesting fact that you can go check it out for yourself. These are all facts that are around. They're looking into the FEMA deal where they were skipping homes with Trump. And would you really be surprised if it was true? Would you really say that could never happen? Have you watched the hatred for President Trump? Even though not only did he win, he won the popular vote, which is, he was a 4-1 underdog to do so. So I think finally people are just pissed off and tired of the others stealing our money. And I think it's something that needs to be investigated, along with the energy policy, the climate change. Again, I don't personally believe in climate change, and I am not saying that you shouldn't. Okay, I would never tell you how to think, but I am telling you that we are paying forward a lot of money for something that has not even been close to being done or completed or even feasible at this moment. Okay, if you want to get feasible on energy, go to nuclear energy. You'd have no problem, and we could be up and running in a couple of years. But no, let's continue with the bullshit wind farms and the electric energy, where our power grid can't even handle the power that we have now. Could you imagine if we went all electric everywhere? So again, enough of the lies from government and the deep state and the cartels telling us what we should be doing, when, again, I don't begrudge anybody. You're believing in climate change, hey, God bless, okay? But at the end of the day, if you're going to charge the American people all these tax dollars to get there, you should probably have a better plan that we've seen so far. Again, I go back to what I've asked you a couple of times on this program. Okay, every election that I can remember, every candidate, including the one coming in, has promised to fix the infrastructure. So far, zero have fixed the infrastructure. So let's see what happens. It's very important as we go. I tell you, there's a lot of minefields that are in the market. We'll talk about that when we get to the market report. Again, I still think we're probably going higher. There has been 4 cases in history of a market going up 2 years in a row, 20%. And the third year in each of those situations is markets have also gone higher. But again, I think the United States, I think we are crippling ourselves with these climate restrictions. China has given up on that. And of course, China has also given up on their QE. You know how much trouble China is in, and you know how concerned they are for what's going on with this, with Trump coming in and the tariffs coming. Okay, the currency wars. Now, you heard me talk about the ridiculous fiat currency system. Okay, where no currency has any true backing other than the full faith and credit of the governments. Okay, well, I'm not such a big fan. I think that more we should be backed by gold or something. But at the end of the day, this is going to be a race to the bottom once again. And right now you're seeing the U.S. dollar charge higher, which again, if someone can explain this to me, I would love to know the true answer. But when you have farmers and everybody wishing for a lower dollar to increase exports, explain to me why that makes sense. Okay? That I don't understand. It does not make sense to me. I have never understood it. Okay? The dollar is a dollar wherever you shop, wherever you go. Explain to me why it should be cheaper when we have a market that determines. And this is the problem. And what we need to go back to is the true free market system. Okay? We don't have true price discovery in many markets. And I think that becomes a bigger problem. Okay? Because asset classes will price themselves given the ability to do so. Which means the Federal Reserve should stay out because the Federal Reserve is clueless. They are part of a banking cartel. They are owned by JP Morgan and people like that. Do you think they're ever going to put something in your favor? Okay. But at the end of the day, if you let the markets work free, which we'll talk more about in our commentary, you would have a much better shot at everything. And our taxes would be a lot lower. Our inflation would be a lot lower. But at the end of the day, you're starting to see companies like Facebook or Meta wake up. They have cut their DEI programs. Okay. Again, DEI should not be something that is forced upon people. Okay. They should be part of your culture and it should be brought up into it. Now, again, if you go back 60 years, okay, would you say that the country has grown better or worse? Am I saying it's perfect? By no means am I saying it's perfect. Okay? But I'm also someone who grew up in the middle of integration, in the middle of all these things, and I understand it because I lived it, and I'm saying, in my opinion, things have gotten better. I think that actually this last administration has made things worse. Okay? So that's, again, something that you have to think about. I can't speak for you on those things, but I think that when we look at the bigger picture, okay, there's a lot of problems here. Too much debt for a consumer. And forget the banks, they're in way too much debt too, but too much debt for the consumer, too many problems, okay? Who's going to pay all these bills, okay? You've seen President Biden with his magic wand trying to relieve debt from everybody. How do you let people get in that kind of debt in the first place, okay? Of course, if we lived like government, we'd all either be in bankruptcy court or jail, because certainly they spend too much, and I can't wait to see what Musk and Ramaswamy can take care of with this Doge or Department of the DOGE, okay, and hopefully they'll be able to cut down on the cost, because I think if you figure it out, you cut down, you will also be able to cut down our tax obligation. In the meantime, this is Bubba's Bottom Line, Todd Bubba Horwitz. It is Sunday, January the 12th. We're going to stop out here for a break and be back with our market report right after the break. What up, kids? Well, as you know, we have sponsors, and we have a brand new sponsor. We have Spooky Express, who's going to sponsor our football picks at the end of the show. But in the meantime, we have Spooky Express. Check them out. Great website, all based on sports and affiliations, so check them out. In the meantime, don't forget our brokerage partners. And again, I do have many brokers, but I do recommend highly TRADIER Brokerage, $10 a month. How can you beat it? Okay, flat. It saves me over $100,000 a year in commissions. Capital Trading Group, who's partners with us on a lot of our futures and commodities programs. Okay, great customer service, do a great job. ITM Trading, which is again gold and silver. I'm a big believer, obviously, as you know, in owning physical metals. Check them out, ITM Trading, and all the websites are listed across and about them. And of course, our high school program, because the lack of financial literacy in this country is ridiculous. So if you want to check it out, you want to help us out. Listen, we're trying to rebuild and put it back in because, again, when somebody doesn't want to teach something, that tells you it's probably usually pretty good, but it's too much work for the teacher to teach it. But check it out, our high school program. In the meantime, let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line with me, Todd Bubba Horwitz. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, January the 12th, football Sunday, by the way. Can't wait. In the meantime, markets got smacked down. They had a big rally on Monday, and the rest of the week was on a smackdown. And of course, we had the day of mourning for President Carter. I guess the markets felt like they wanted to be in the era of when President Carter was the president, because it was certainly a massive beatdown Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday markets were kind of closed, and of course Friday. At the end of the day, I don't think there was much damage done to the overall markets. I mean, the VIX hardly moved. I mean, it went from 16 to 19, but on a market that was down, S&P was down over 100 points for the week. So we'll see. Again, we still have our positions on. We didn't have a good week. We had a losing week this week in most things. But again, we had a winning week in our day trading. But again, either way, it doesn't matter. You know that those of you who are members know that I report anyways how we do every week. In the meantime, we're still long the S&P, the Russell, and the Dow. We have no position in the NASDAQ right now, but based on what's going on, I would assume it would be coming a buy pretty soon. There's a lot of signals that are pointing to a big rally, even though there's a lot of minefields out there. And even though, you know, I've said this before, I'm not going to change now. I do believe that at some point, and I've been calling this for about a year, I think, at some point in the near future, we're going to see a 50 to 70% haircut to this market. I think the banks are in trouble. I think we've got too much debt, and a whole litany of reasons. At the end of the day, I would not be surprised if it came within the next 18 months. But again, I'm not predicting, and just so you know, as you know, I disclose my positions every day. So even though I believe that there's going to be that big collapse, I also am still long the market right now. We'll always be long the market. My long-term positions will always be hedged. But in the meantime, so the indices got beat up. And then if we go to the dollar had a big rally, making highs it hasn't seen for quite a while. We don't trade anymore, not because we have anything against the dollar, just it's too expensive to trade with the criminals in New York that want to charge you some stupid fee to trade on their exchange. In the meantime, we would be short it. The euro currency is being under a little bit of pressure. We're still long it. Bonds and notes have been under pressure, as you know, obviously. If the 10-year was 3.5%, now it's 4.7%. The bond futures are getting cracked. Well, again, we're still long them. I'm expecting a bounce. And again, I still think interest rates are going higher, and I think ultimately they're going to go a lot lower, these bond futures, but I think there'll be a big bounce here somewhere in between. Bitcoin, I think it's going to 85,000. Right now it's 95,000. I'm not negative it. I just think that the chart indicates that a pullback to 85,000 would be better. We have no position right now. And in gold, we're still long. We had a nice move on Friday. Didn't close as well as I would have liked to have seen, but did have a nice move. Silver is higher. We have no position right now in silver, and platinum was higher as well, but we don't trade platinum. It's not liquid enough. Copper is still vacillating around that between $4.30 and $4. We have no position right now in copper. The grain markets, we had WASD on Friday. Soybeans and corn got a little pop. Wheat still seems to be struggling. At the end of the day, we have just a position in corn. I think that they're going higher. Okay, all of them across the board. We're short corn, but I do think they're going higher. You know, maybe not today, and maybe not tomorrow. But I think the longer term view is that they have to go higher. you're going to see inflation and have these commodities inflate. In the meats, which we don't trade anymore, I trade them. I resold cattle on the rally on Friday. I did buy hogs at 79 cents. So again, I think that the right trade is not going to have. I've been wrong so far, so I don't want you to think that like I know something. Okay, I just don't. These are all-time record highs, and I don't get it. I don't know who's paying for them, but in the meantime, it doesn't matter. In the natural gas, had a big move on Monday, sold off all the way, and then had a big move on Friday. We're still short natural gas, and crude broke through a secondary level, had a big move, but I know there's some issues in Russia, and I think some of it was panic buying, because if you look at the curve and the backwardation that it's in, it doesn't make sense, and I think this will die quickly. I do think that crude's going to be a lot cheaper. In the meantime, we are shorted, but only we're shorted because of price, not because of what I think. Okay, remember, none of the trades are made because of what I think. Soft commodities continue to rally, telling you that the inflation trade is in place. So we'll see what happens. In the meantime, just be careful out there, but business does appear to be coming back. It looks like we're going to get ready to get a little bit more active. In the meantime, let us step out for our final break, and we'll be back with more Bubba's Bottom Line and my commentary when we come back from the break. What up, kids? Just want to remind you of our sponsors: TRADIER Brokerage, Capital Trading Group, ITM Trading, our high school program, and of course Spooky Express, which is sponsoring our football picks. In the meantime, let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line with me, Todd Bubba Horwitz, and my commentary. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Todd Bubba Horwitz, and of course, every week I give you a little commentary, and I got kind of a mixed bag here today, and I don't know which to go first, but I want to talk about, first of all, everybody talks about how great the economy is, and I say bullshit. I say it sucks. And now you've got, not only do you just have Big Lots go out of business, but Macy's and Kohl's are closing 93 stores more. So again, our retailers continue to lose. I think that our employment situation is horrible, and we saw a jobs number. Well, it's funny. You go into a store, you can't get any help. I mean, I went into a store with, let's say, a pocket full of money the other day to Dick's. I'll even name them. Okay, had to wait 30 minutes for somebody to come and sell me a treadmill. Okay, so I don't know. I guess I don't understand it. I do understand that we've created a mess. I do understand that the Federal Reserve has created, and the government has created, this easy credit, which creates big debt, and then people can't pay it. If you go back, if you're old enough to remember, 90 days same as cash. The reason they offered that, it was a special to get you to come in and suck you in to take something you couldn't afford. Okay. And not telling you that if you didn't pay it off in full in 90 days, that the interest rate went back to day one at a massive amount of money, let's say 25%. So we've got a mess. We've got President Trump coming in, and don't think that magically that all these economic numbers that are either you believe are good or bad, I don't know what you believe. I believe they suck. But either way, things are going to get a little bit worse before they get better if President Trump does his job. That's what I think. That's what I see. And I would just warn you to be careful. In the meantime, this is Bubba's Bottom Line, Todd Bubba Horwitz. And of course, it is a football Sunday. It is playoffs. Okay. And we do like the games as well. We like the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm not happy the line's gotten away a little bit. It's 5. And we do like the Buffalo Bills. Okay. And of course, there is a game tomorrow night where we like Washington. Okay. In the meantime, those picks were brought to you by Spooky Express. Have a great weekend. We'll see you tomorrow night if you come to Monday night. And until then, Bubba's Bottom Line. We'll see you later, everybody. Have a great weekend.